Hey, this is H1. We're going to be running it back with another episode talking about chess knowledge, chess wisdom, and chess understanding. And today we got a game for you. The title of this game is Attack Faster Than Your Opponent in Chess. And if that's not the title, then hey, I changed it for the algorithm. But anyway, the white pieces is David Bronstein and the black pieces is Rudolf Teschner. Rudolph? We got Rudolph up in here? We got Roo? No, I was just playing. Let me quit. But anyway, this game was played in 1965, and the site that it was played in is in Hamburg. And yeah, the event was EURCHT. I don't know. But what I do know is that this was in the first round, and we're gonna be getting it right quick. Let's get into the game. Skip all the stuff that I was gonna say. So David decided to begin the match off with the move e4, and then Ruru decided to play the move e5. And after e5 was played, David decided to say, I want to play the Vienna game, so let's play knight c3 and figure out what you want to do about your life, right? And then Rudolph was like, I'm just gonna play knight f6, attack your pawn that is already defended. Whatever, this is part of open theory. And then David was like, well, I know this Mises variation that I just initiated with playing g3, g3 to fianchetto this bishop on the f1 square. And then, he played the move bishop b4, attacking the knight. And then David went along to play bishop g2, which was opening theory. And then after the move d6, and not moving that pawn, but knight G to e2, and we're about to castle. Probably next move d3. Regular moves is gonna be happening right now, and we are still in opening theory. c6, castle kingside, and then after castle kingside, we got the weird moves knight b to d7, and then after knight b to d7, we got d3, knight to f8, and then we got the move a3, attacking the bishop. After the bishop was attacked and went to bishop a5, David decided to attack the bishop at least one more time. Why not just bully the bishop? Because I don't want you attacking my knight. And just in case you castle on the queen side, I already got my two pawns right there, already ready to march down and attack your king. That's the plan, right? So you better not castle on the queen side. That's basically what David was initiating by pushing the moves a3 and b4, which I don't know if Rudolph listened to that, but let's just go on with the game because he played bishop c7 after the move b4 was played. After bishop c7, we got the move d4, queen e7, and then queen d3. We're still just going through the game, and now they're just playing moves. We got h5, we got h3, which is a common defense on if your opponent pushes the h pawn that you're gonna have to remember, because every grandmaster, every master knows about this sort of defense. If this happens, this is a certain type of strategy that I learned a long time ago, that now if black plays h4, which he did, David was like, I'm just going to play g4. What are you going to do? You're really going to sacrifice at this g4 pawn right now? If you're going to do that, then I got clearly adequate defenses for that. And so after g4 was played, Rudolph was too scared to do so. So he just played bishop d7. And it kind of seems like he's going to castle on the queen side since he's trying to attack on this h file. But since g4 was played, it was shut down. But let's figure out what's going to happen right quick, because after the moves f4, knight to e6, attacking the pawn, we got 5 pawns on the same rank, which is pretty beautiful, I'm not going to lie. And then when you keep the tension, it just makes it more beautiful, especially when white is up in an advantage, because the chess engine is giving white a 1.3 advantage. Yeah, this structure is hard to crack though. I wouldn't know how to go about cracking this, especially on human standards, but these grandmasters know what they're doing all the time. And then Rudolph couldn't deal with the pressure, all the tension that was going on in the position, so he decided to break that, that sucks. Why would you do that? That's crazy. After E takes on F4, then we got the next moves. Knight takes on F4, and the big mistake, kinda, not a blunder, not too bad, but definitely a mistake, because after this move was played, the computers hated it, and they are giving the white pieces a 3-point advantage more than their opponent. And after Knight G5, we got Rook A to E1, giving back some of those points because that wasn't an accuracy. They wanted, what did they want white to play in this position? Knight F to D5, which who would have thought about that? I don't even know why that. I'm not even going to get into that because this grandmaster or master or whatever this chess player is, he's playing good enough. He's playing good. He's Gucci, right? Right? Are you with me? Clearly you are. You just want to see the game. But anyway, after Rook A to E1, then we got the move which we was waiting for, king side castle. And yeah, all the pieces are developed and we're going to evaluate who's winning so far. Let's get into it right quick. How are we going to start our evaluation? This game is going to be a lot more tricky than the other evaluations that we had because the other ones were just clearly winning. But in this one, it's kind of tricky, but let's get into it right quick. First of all, material is equal. Nobody sacrificed anything to get into this position. Okay, so development time. Who has more development? Who has more time? I guess you can argue maybe white has more time, but all the pieces are developed on the board right now. I guess you can say that it's like a small plus for white, since both of white's rooks are doing better than both of black's rooks. This rook is just aiming at this pawn at the h4 square, and this rook is just aiming at nothing at all. This rook can get into the game if the sacrifice is done, but I don't know if that sacrifice or if Rudolph is bold enough to do that sacrifice. So a small little plus right there. That's fine enough. King safety. Whose king is safer? Well, at the meantime, the white king has a lot of space. Has a lot of space around it, but black can't get into that space. So I would kind of say that, you know, just a small little minus just for discomfort if I was playing on the white side, but in all honesty is equal. But if you want to just be on the more cautious side, you can give yourself a little minus. Center control, definitely white. White has more center control than their opponent. Having those two pawns at the center just shows you how dominant the position is more than your opponent, but this can be lost at the same time too, because I've seen Hakan Nakamura play the black side in these type of positions. Not exactly this one, but those cramped positions where it gives black more flexibility, things of that nature. And I've seen him win games, even though legitimately he was in losing positions, but nobody knew how to play against an elite grandmaster at that level, going fast and playing somewhat good moves at the same time. You can't stop that. But anyway, center control, definitely a plus side on our part, and we have more space than our opponent. And the pawn structure is equal. There's no terrible pawn structures on either side. So the only thing that we have is just a small plus on development. Center control is ours and space is ours. But center control and space can be temporary. And that's the thing that you're going to have to be worried about in this position. That's why I was going to say it could be tricky, because space can go away with one bad move. Center control can go away with one bad move. And if you allow your opponent to get like a d5 move in, then the center control just evaporates, right? So you're going to have to be very careful. And I think that David does a good job at being careful at this exact moment. At this exact moment, he played the move b5 to attack on the queen side, since he felt that he was disrespected, because usually when you do moves like a3, b4, they don't castle on the king side, because that gives that gives me more time. Actually, that gives me more time than you to attack. And black doesn't have no specific attack unless they sacrifice on the G4 square. Or do some like G6, F5 move, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So why not just do a B5 move? And I'm clearly winning. In this position, Rudolph decided to finally sacrifice on the G4 square. And after knight takes G4, David was like, you probably would have been safer if your king was still in the center. And you can't capture back. You don't want to play his game. Let's say you capture back, right? Let's say you don't do the best move of the position and you capture back. That's giving black an advantage, especially after the move. They're saying he could do h3 and cause some problems on the king side, even though you're kind of still winning in this game. You could have took it, but I don't know. The way that David played was a lot more fun. Like, who cares about this knight taking on G4 when I could just take this pawn right here? And if you just take this bishop on E3, then I'm just going to take your bishop on D7 with a check and then take your knight. What's the plan here? What's the move, Rudolph? What's the move? And so the move was to play B takes on C6, even though, let me check right quick. That's ugly. They actually wanted the knight to take on E3. And if that move was actually called out on the computer, then you know your position is toast, is done, it's ugly. After B takes on C6, we got a checkmate in 9 moves already. How would that checkmate start? If you want to pause the video and analyze this game, maybe put it on your chessboard and actually go through the maneuvers of what's going to happen next. Hey, it can all be good for your chess improvement and your muscle memory of calculating. I'll wait. I want you to approve. But if you're only here for entertainment purposes, then you already know that this move, queen to A6, was going to happen, checking the king. And after this king was checked, this king moved to B8. What's the next move? What's the next prerogative for white to do? Well, we're going to have to keep the initiative, because if we slow down now, we could be losing. Like I went over before, we don't want our winning position to turn into a losing position. Rook B1 check. After rook B1 check, we got the move bishop B6. That's what was played. Rudolph played bishop B6 thinking that that would stop David's attack. But little did he know that this rook was going to be sacrificed on the B6 square. And after A takes on B6 and queen takes on B6, now we're at checkmate in 5 moves. Let's go over all the checkmates right quick. Because in this position, black resigned. Yes, Rudolph resigned. And David's seen all these sequences of all these checkmates. Probably way beforehand, he did queen A6 check. Let's go over all of them because it's pretty fun. If this king goes to A8, let's see what happens. After king A8, queen A6, king B8, then we got the move rook B1, checking the king. And once this king moves to C7, then we got checkmate with queen to B7, checkmate. Attacking the king can capture the queen because of the rook on the B1 square, protecting the queen. Okay, keep up with me, right? This king was being attacked on the B8 square. If this king moves to C8, which is the more challenging variation of them all, what check would be the best one out of all of them? Well, there's only one check. And this check is queen A6. After queen a6, if this king moves back to b8, we already know what's going to happen. Rook to b1 and then queen to b7 again. But what happens after king c7, which is pretty tricky. If you made it this far, the people that calculated, it's pretty tricky. We don't have time to do rook b1. Maybe we do. I haven't really looked at that possibility. Like, what if that move was played, rook b1? If rook b1 is played, white is still winning, but at the same time, you want to do the checkmate. You don't want to skip out on this. Especially seeing a beautiful move like knight c to d5. Did you want to miss out on this move? It's so ugly. Black's position is hopeless. If the king moves back to b8, got the rook going to b1. But if the c pawn takes on d5, then knight takes on d5. And you know it's the hopeless part? You know it's the more miserable part about this position? If the king moves back to b8, there's a lot of things that are winning. I'm pretty sure I can take the queen and it's still winning. But at the same time, I said we're going for checkmate. So we got queen b6, checking the king. If the king moves to c8, we got queen to c7, checkmate. The king can't capture the queen because of the knight on the d5 square protecting the queen. If this king moves to a8, then we got the common queen and knight checkmate. Knight to c7, attacking the king. The king can't go to the b8, b7, or a7 squares because this queen is controlling all of them, because we know that the queen moves up, down, left, right, and diagonal. So, yeah, those were some gruesome checkmates, and that's why Black resigned at that last moment. And hey, we know that David, yes, I forgot his name, who cares? But we know that David was victorious in maybe, just maybe, a flawless victory. You know what I mean? It's possible. I don't know. It's possible. It's cool. Go to the next video. Don't just click off the channel. Go to the next video. Learn some more.